uh, how the Austrian school is for idiots. Um, I've apparently I've got a lot of friends that are believers in the Austrian school. That you create money and it just creates inflation, so prices go up. So it doesn't make any difference. So you can't do the things that we need to do. Well, that is bullshit. In fact, I have now finally connected to what I liked when I took a money and bank, or what I took economics um, in at OU when I was first first year at OU in 1962. And my favorite instructor, Dr. Brinker, uh, some uh, uh, curves up on the board, and the demand and supply, uh, and he says, and I was about to go. I was fucking asleep when he's drawing those curves. That what didn't interest me, and I think I could spot fraud pretty early on in my life, and so I just turn it off and go to sleep, yawn, and try to keep my eyes open and sit in class. Um, and and he drew these curves up on the board, and he said, "My or the four block University of Oklahoma, where 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 I uh, uh, got a degree in 1964 in money and banking of all things, and and then finally, right after during Occupy Wall Street at Occupy Chicago at a teach-in, I finally learned about money creation and learned that banks create all the fucking money. And uh, and uh, so somebody said, or I said, "Have you ever voted for a banker?" And somebody said, "Well, I voted for my Savings and Loan Association." Yeah, and but did you know that all the banking and loan associations are fronts for commercial banks? They have direct ties to them, and that's where they get their money to loan to you. Okay, the banks create the money. So, uh, hell, I've lost my train of thought. Oh, uh, so draws these curves up there and put me to sleep. And then he said, "My friends at OSU say, Oklahoma State University say, we can't do thus and so because of these curves." And he said, "What I say is, we open those windows over there and we throw them right out on the lawn." And I got to know Dr. Brinker as an adult later uh, here in Norman. And I said, "Dr. Brinker, I was asleep in your class. And you said that." Well, and I enjoyed the class from there on. And uh, we had uh, pretty good. Dr. Brinker was a labor economist. He wrote papers for the AFL-CIO. And when I was here in school back in the 60s, we only had one conservative in the department, Alec Condonassis. And Alec, uh, after Reagan got rid of Dr. Brinker and all his buddies there, uh, 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 Alec was head of the department, and Alex had a had a letter up on his wall, framed, from Milton Friedman, and Milton Friedman said, "This is to my friend Alec Condonassis, who's the best economist in the United States besides me." And uh, it was all I could do. I took Alex, a class from Alex later, and and it was all I could do to sit in the class they had, and I thought I wanted to get a PhD in economics. What a foolish idea that was! And even one of my friends in the department said, "From University of Oklahoma?" No. So, well, that's the only choice I had. I was poor, and here I was, so I could take classes. So, and so anyway, we're uh, uh, gonna talk about the Austrian school. I understand that the Austrian school believes in hard money. Okay, in other words, they believe a commodity should be money. Well, a commodity should never be money. Uh, and the biggest example of that, the most disastrous example, was that the Roman Empire, when they expanded too far out into the further reaches of the empire, uh, the people out there would not accept the money from Rome uh, that had made the Roman Republic so good. They wouldn't accept that. So they would only accept gold or silver. And so what happened is Rome lost control of its money that it had for hundreds of years. And uh, the people that owned the gold and silver then controlled Rome. And you know what happened? The biggest, deepest depression the world has ever known, the Dark Ages. That's what happened. They, uh, our Austrian economists fucking the problem they were standard, no control, and it set off the Dark Ages. Hmm. So Austrians, a commodity is not a good money. It's not a money, and money is a creation of law. That's what money is. Whatever we say is money, that's what money is. So let's uh, let's get away from these Austrian economists that use their curves to say that uh, can't do things because of this. One example of that we can create money and cause good economies is was the 13 colonies. They created their own money, and they had no unemployment, and they had no poverty. Benjamin Franklin went to, let's see, I've got, it sounds like I got a bunch of girls behind me here. I'm, I'm close to this university, and they are a noisy bunch. And uh, I guess I can't see them because of the light. It just went by. So anyway, uh, yeah, uh, the 13 colonies created their own money, the Continentals, and they had no inflation, and they had no unemployment. And Benjamin Franklin went to France, and they asked him, or England, asked him what they did about what y'all do about their poor. How do you build poorhouses? And said, why would we need poorhouses? We don't have any poor. So, uh, uh, actually, the Revolutionary War was caused because the English wanted us to adopt their money system, like in the Bank of England. And we said, fuck no. And we fought a war. We won the war. George Washington led us to victory. And then you know what he did? Turned around and stabbed us in the back. He and Hamilton conspired to take the power to create money from Congress, that's where it's at in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, power to coin money, which means the power to create money, is in the was given to Congress. They delegated that power to their friends, who became the first bankers, and George Washington became the richest man in the new country of the United States. Uh, um, he betrayed our country. He betrayed what he did and the lives that he got sacrificed. He betrayed all of that so he could become the richest man in the new country, United States of America. Sorry, bastard. Him and that cherry tree. Another lie. We lie to our children all the time. We need to start telling our children the truth and creating fictions that, you know what it ends up doing? It ends up giving our, our children midlife crises because then they realize they're in a fucking trap they can't get out of. This doesn't affect the black people so much because they already know they're in a trap when they're children. But us white folks, we don't know that. In fact, my son, white folk, uh, business in Chicago, uh, finally told me just a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two, 3 months ago, things haven't worked out like I thought they would. Yeah, he's in a business where he has to chase money all the time. He thought that he could uh, 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 create good lives for people. Yeah. Hadn't worked, has it, Tom? Well, it has. You watch. Get on here and tell me it has. Get on here and tell me that is what you meant when you said that things haven't worked out. But that is what he meant. And that's the midlife crisis. Tom's 50 years old. It's the midlife crisis uh, that us white men have. I didn't have one because shit. Uh, my banker stabbed me in the back. It sure did turn to shit. Except, you know what? I learned to live with eating shit. And in fact, we've got a good soup kitchen here in Norman. I just had a delicious Hilton lunch, and there's another one sitting in the refrigerator inside my apartment right now. And we can. I'm living pretty good. I got a good apartment. I have. I'm a gay man that has two young men living with him, and I'm not. I'm not. I don't have to suffer from the problem of loneliness because I just don't. And one of them really likes this old guy, and he's not shy at all about sharing himself with me. And we fight a lot about other things like doing the laundry and using too much soap detergent in the. This guy's 2 years old, and instead of if I can't eat it, then instead of keeping it in the fridge for me, he'll put it in the microwave and just leave it set. Of course, then I won't eat it if it's set out 3 or 4 hours. I'm not going to eat the damn thing. Uh, I'll wait till he's gone and I'll dump it in the garbage and tell him it was great and scold him for leaving it in the microwave. So, uh, but he made uh, uh, toward oh, some oh yeah some Italian sausages. It was fucking good. And this queer boy can cook every once in a while, and it's successful. So anyway, yeah, this is an old queer guy that is not lonesome anymore because because Samuel came walking up on my patio right here where I'm sitting in November. Um, his dad and I have become friends on the phone. His dad lives in Alaska and doesn't want Samuel calling him and things. His dad's had problems. Samuel's got schizophrenia, we think, and and one of these days I'll get him diagnosed. Or he we've been through the process of getting. He was living on the street, fucking, and November it's cold as hell here, and uh, and I got him off the street uh, when he came out of the shower completely naked, and I looked at him and said, "Well, okay, you can stay." And he he has stayed with me. And, so, hey there, Samuel. How you doing? Okay. Okay. So, anyway, the Austrian school is a school for idiots, and and don't go there, especially you people that like Thaddeus Russell. Uh, the, the free market doesn't answer all our problems and doesn't answer problems, and we got to challenge that, and it's the Need Act that does. We can uh, because whoever controls the power to create money controls a culture, which is what happened to Rome and why Rome fell because the people that control the creation of money were uh, not Romans, and um, so they the Rome lost control of its empire and set off the Dark Ages. So let's uh, uh, here's we got the Need Act. Let me tell you what it does. Three things. It nationalizes the Federal Reserve, puts it in the Treasury where we think it is now, but it's not a part of government. Okay, the Federal Reserve is owned by the commercial banks. Okay, then we're going to the second step is we're going to take the power of commercial banks to create money away from them. They're going to be able to make loans, but guess what? They're going to have the money to loan. Right now, they don't have to have the money. They create the money. You get a car loan, and uh, and your banker says, "Well, we got the loan approved. Your paperwork's fine. Let me punch this button." And he punches the button, and uh, uh, the banker created the money right then. No need for reserves. That thing about 10% and things, that's bullshit. Uh, in fact, it's even been made uh, law now that we've been through this pandemic, and the Federal Reserve got it made into law, and no reserve requirements. So banks create the money. You ever voted for a banker? No. Well, my friend that has his account at the Savings and Loan Association said, "Yeah, I voted for the head of the Banking and Loan Association. All the banking and loan associations are fronts for commercial banks. That's where they get their money. They they get their money from commercial banks. And so let's then we that's the second thing we do. We end the power of banks to create money. It's a fractional reserve system, which doesn't even exist. But then we spend money in the economy. The government spends money in the economy for things like we need, like healthcare, like uh, uh, education, like transportation, like infrastructure, like how about a $50,000 a year guaranteed annual income? Yeah, we can do that, and 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 provide a good floor under everybody, so we could all be who we want to be, not some employer that we're made slave to. You know what? we're all prisoners of war. And the the first duty, the only duty of a prisoner of war, escape. The Need Act is our escape. Okay. Come and look at my Facebook page. Uh, uh, I just posted a couple of videos early this morning. Take a look at them. It's about escaping, and uh, uh, and you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Haps, uh, Periscope. It's still there. You might even be watching this on Periscope, and so all these places, uh, I'm there right now, and there's even a group that I'd formed called A Nation Without Name, and this video is right there right now. So okay, I think I will end this and occupy the Need Act, HR 2990 of the 112th Congress by former Congressman Dennis Kucinich of Cleveland, Ohio. You might remember Dennis. He ran for president twice on the Green Party ticket. And when he introduced the Need Act into legislation, uh, 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 the, the Austrian idiots uh, got him kicked out of Congress. Joe the plumber beat him. They uh, uh, fixed his congressional district where he couldn't win. Yeah, but that isn't the end of Dennis Kucinich. He started 21-year-old mayor of Cleveland, and that was and the power company, the bankers were trying to repossess and take over the power company. He beat them. Okay, and now we're going to beat the bankers with the Need Act. Bye now.